This video is going to be a bit different than usual. During the last 2 years, we witnessed the entering into action of some of the most sophisticated armored vehicles currently existing, but we never take a moment to realize that these machines represent a small percentage of those out there. There are many tanks, which for some reason very few people talk about, that could possibly perform as good as the top currently existing. In this video, I'm going to give a list of 5 tanks that, in my personal opinion, are underrated in the modern warfare. Of course, everyone has his own list, so if you agree or disagree with mine, that's fine. Feel free to post your list on the comments I'll be reading. So let's begin. Number 5, Ariete from Italy. Don't get me wrong, this tank is full of problems. If you are a tank nerd like me, you know exactly of what I'm talking about. But in case you are not familiar with this vehicle, just know that it has barely any armor. This raised some doubt about its ability to survive in the harshest environments, but the Ariete has some upsides too. Speaking particularly about the C2 variant, it carries the latest optical and digital imaging and fire control systems, enabling it to fight day and night and to fire on the move. The main armament consists of a 120mm smooth-bore gun, which can fire most of the NATO projectiles for its caliber, and moreover, that means enough firepower to deal against most second-generation main battle tanks and possibly even some of the third one. Lastly, the relatively light weight of the Ariete, which is below 60 tons even with extra add-on armor package, facilitate the transport and mobility of the MBT. The smallest size could also be an advantage in close urban combat operations, if it doesn't get hit by something. Number 4, PT-91 from Poland. This is basically the Polish modernized variant of the T-72M1. The idea behind this project was to adapt the T-72 to the reality of modern warfare and fix its most visible deficiencies. Among those were low mobility, insufficient armor, lack of a fire control system, and poor stabilization of the main gun, which resulted in poor firing accuracy. The PT-91 feature elements created almost exclusively by domestic companies. The most noticeable, it's the new reactive armor Irawa, introduced to increase the main battle tank's protection from high-explosive anti-tank projectiles and missiles. The main armament consists of a 125mm smooth-bore cannon, similar to the ones used on T-80 and T-90 tanks, allows enough firepower to deal with the most amount of heavy armored threats on the battlefield. This tank is in service today in Ukraine, Malaysia, and of course, in Poland. Number 3, M84AS2 from Serbia. This tank is the latest version of the M84, which is a Yugoslavian tank based on the Soviet T-72. The modernization of the tank is based mostly on imported components. The changes are so many compared to the previous variant that basically looks like a new tank overall. To name the most important, we have a better barrel for the 125mm gun, improved fire control system with day and night sight, new Stora active protection system, and contact reactive armor. Apart from external differences to the M84, it also has different internal structure and equipment, far surpassing the predecessor in both capability and durability. Some sources on the internet address this tank to be the twin brother of the T-90S. This is not unfounded. Since the differences between the two are small, the T-90S is better armored, while the M84AS2 is faster and more maneuverable. Overall, we could say that this is definitely a tough opponent for any tanks. The M84AS2 is only in service in the Serbian army, and its only weak point is that only 12 units have been built today, but more have been ordered. Number 2, T-84 Oplot M from Ukraine. Of all the tanks on the list, this is probably the most mysterious one. At the beginning of the Russia-Ukraine war, very few media have been posted regarding this tank. It just went shadow mode. The very few clips seen online during the conflict indicates that the Ukrainian army doesn't want to use the T-84 in combat, probably because of all the tank supply received by NATO countries. Plus, there are not much of them available anyway, since very few have been built. Speaking about the vehicle itself, the T-84 is a main battle tank based on the Soviet T-80. The first variant entered in service in the Ukrainian army in 1999, and it received numerous upgrades during these years. The latest and most sophisticated one is the Oplot M variant, which carries the same armament of the basic T-84, but mount a more advanced armor. That is the duplet explosive reactive armor, a new electronic countermeasure systems, and other small improvements. One visible feature is the new PNK-6 panoramic tank sight that wasn't present in the previous variants. Currently, the operators of this tank are Ukraine and Thailand. The USA also acquired 1 unit for technologies analysis and operational force training. Number 1, Type 96B from China. Every time I see this tank or one of its variant, it pops out of my mind that meme referred to the tank biathlon. Anyway, the Type 96 is a second-generation main battle tank entered in service with the PLA in 1997. The latest variant is the Type 96B. Compared to its predecessors, which are the basic Type 96 and the Type 96A, this one is equipped with an improved engine, improved high-performance gun with an upgraded fire control system, new transmission and suspension, communications, and computer systems. Even though the Type 99 is currently the best Chinese main battle tank, a greater number of Type 96 tanks have been built. The cheaper Type 96B is seen by domestic experts as the main tank in the modernization of the PLA. By the way, if you liked the video, please consider to support me by clicking the like and subscribe button. See you in the next mission.